Hey Delma, Diane Adkins here. I'm ready to help you with your Prairie Spring Violin 2. And in particular, we're going to focus on the bowing and the timing because it's a little tricky, isn't it? You'll see at the top of this music, right before you start playing, you've got this thing that says swing the eighth notes. So I'm going to go ahead and when I play it, I'm just going to swing the eighth notes. I'm not going to play them straight like you may be practicing them. Also, I'm not sure whether you are playing this with a group like an orchestra or you're just playing it because you like it, but I'm suspecting that you're going to be playing this in the group. So the bowings that we choose may need to be altered just a little bit here and there because sometimes it's not the best idea violinistically to just play it, as it comes. Sometimes there's a couple slurs or ties on notes that I put in there to make it more violinistic, more easily falling under the hand, so to speak. I hope you understand what I mean. Okay, so let's get started. Hey Delma, so I've lowered the camera angle so you can watch my bow direction. Right here, there's a dot and you can see the bow direction. And we'll just take it from the very beginning. Now at the very beginning you have, we're in 3/4 time. That really doesn't matter, but if you look at right before the melody, and of course I know these are cue notes, so this is probably the first violin playing, but I went ahead and marked this, and we'll talk about this section anyway. So you can, even if you're just following along, you know what's happening. At this point also, when I send you the link to this video, it will remain a private video unless you tell me that you want me to share it on my channel. But back to the beginning, you'll see there are 2 notes. And so that's an even number. And that tells me to start down bow. Now you don't need to remember that. But I'm talking about pickups. Pickup notes in the measure and pickup notes within the melody. If you count and how many you've got, and if you've got 2 of them, you should start down, and if you've got 1 of them or 3 of them, you should start up. So we're going to start this down bow first. See how that works out? Because you have that long note there, and you probably have that in second violin as well. So we're counting 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. First time, freely, rubato tempo. I'm not sure what the tempo is on this, but we're going to take it this tempo so you can we can talk about what we're doing. These cue notes are kind of hard to read too. So we've got 3 beats, 1, 2, 3, 1. So that tie note is not a half note. 2, 3, 1. That was with the swinging 8th note. 3, 1. 1, 2, 3. Now this is a half note. Use your 4 there. Hop. I really suggest in this measure that you do a hook stroke. Hook on the little D there. 1, 2, 3, hook. And that finishes the first phrase. The next 2 notes in this measure are pickup notes to the new phrase. See? Just like the beginning. Alright, I'm going to play the first phrase now. This is probably first violin going. Let's briefly focus in I've sent you this music, or will have sent you this music to refer to. And we're going to start at measure 10, which I numbered the first measure in each line so you could kind of refer to what I'm talking about in particular. Okay, so at measure 10 we have, right before that, let's back up to line 1 at the end where we have those two pickup notes. D, E, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Right there's tricky because you've got to get all that on one bow. 1, 2, and it's hard to really tell if that's a half note, but it is. This is a half note. And your instinct is going to be to go down bow on the third or fourth measure. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, and that's a half note, so be careful. It's really tricky because those Q notes are hard to tell whether they're half notes. Back to measure 10. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 2. Use your 4 there. Now let's look at the first ending. We have a tie in the measure just before it. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. A little short D. See the rest after it, and then an E. Let's do that up bow because we want to have a down bow on the repeat, the beginning of the repeat where the melody starts. So this, in this case, if you look at it, we have one pickup, right? We have a D. Little different technique there, so be fun, and your conductor will appreciate it if you would do that little rest. Really observe it because a lot of people will just miss it. All right, let's start about from 10, 11, 12. Let's start at the end of measure 13 where we go. One, 2, 3, 1. Short note, up. Now we're repeating. One, 2, 3. Hook. Keep going up. Now that was the second ending. So let's practice that real quick. Second ending, let's take the measure before it, which is the G, the third finger on D, down bow, 1, 2, 3, tied eighth note. So the tied eighth note is down. Now, probably better to use fourth finger on that E. Little tricky rhythm. What's tricky is that after E you have to play that 2 and then let it go and come back. So one, 2, 3, 1. Now here's where your part, your second violin begins. And you can tell, I marked it on the music, but you can tell because the notes are bigger. Now our whole feeling is going to change really. You're going to be playing a harmony. And you have some pretty nice things in here, but it is the harmony. All right, here we go. G string. 2, 3, 1. 2, 3, 1, 2. how we've got that same technique right at the end of the line, which has it's actually measure 34, if you can find that using the music that I gave you. You have that little D with a rest after it, and then these two pickups. So the end of the phrase will be the long up bowed B natural. New measure. Measure 35. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Bounce those eighth notes. You feel the end of the phrase there and the beginning with the D. The D is the pickup. Now we could get really picky, and your conductor will appreciate it if you would observe that rest after the D. And then notice that the E, this is measure 42, the last measure in the line marked 35. Okay, so all the way to the end, you've just played an up bow on the low A. Now you have a D, which is short, and that's the first pickup to the new measure, to the new phrase. And then there's an E, which is not, there's no rest after it. So keep it more connected to what comes after it. Let me demonstrate it now. I'll back up a couple measures. See how I connected that E, first finger D, to the G, which is third finger on D, at measure 43. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 1. 1, 2, 3, 2. Bounce those eighths. Sustain. 3, 1, 2. Now we're going to pick up the bow because we have some at the next line. Measure 51, we have a couple double stops. I'm not sure if you're going to divide these and just play the top or bottom note, but these are easy enough that you could probably play both notes. If you set the 1 first in this chord and then the 3, just kind of roll your hand on. You could probably play these notes together. Just roll them. Now hold the 3 and the 1 that you just set and place the 2 next to the 1 on the A. Make sure your second fingernail is really cut down there because it will be in the way with the way that this double stop sits on the strings. And then we have the down bow on the third chord. Our 1 and 3 is still in place. The pinky is up here close to third finger. It's not under the fingerboard. 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Now be careful with third finger on these if you're going to do both notes. That it can sometimes, if you have your angle of your hand a little bit under, or not under, it may touch the A and then give you this kind of squeak sound. So push the D a little bit, maybe toward the G string to clear the A. It's a good practice, and if you can't manage that in time to play this with your orchestra, then just do the top line or the bottom. One, 2, 3. All right, low 2, here we go. Bounce. Another chord here. At this point, you could just jump 1 and 2. Just move your fingers just a little to tune it up. off. All right, so all throughout, up until now, you've been able to watch the dot on my bow and see what direction your bow should be going in. So we've just played, let me back up here and do this one again, see what direction we're going to start these triplets in at measure 66. Now, if we could skip that measure for just a moment and look at 67. This is sort of a high peak of this music. And you can tell because you get to play a second violin, you get to play on the E. It would be nice to begin that part down bow. And also, if you do begin it down bow, you have this third measure with a sustained G, E2, 2, 3, 4, on a down bow. So, and you definitely want that. So if we back up to the triplet measure and start it up bow, you will find that 67, measure 67, right here, will begin down bow easily. So if you begin this up bow, then you have a nice, down bow on measure 67. All right, let's talk about the triplets real quick. They may be scary, but play them all separate bows and start up bow if you can. Now the reason that might be difficult is because the measure before it, you just finished a phrase on an up bow. But don't pick up your bow or anything. Just save on that. Then tilt over. And it works out really nice. It feels good under the hands. So looking at the triplet, just how to practice that, because it may seem a little daunting maybe. So you got to remember it's skipping notes, isn't it? And sometimes we just think, oh, these fast notes are going to go all in a row. Nope, they're not, are they? 3, 3. So those last two beats, or triplets, begin on 3. So just think of the first note of each triplet, and you'll be able to do it. All right, so that's my advice for you. Hopefully that fits with what the first violins are doing. Maybe they're not playing anything like that, but I bet you this is down bow for first violin. Two, 3, 1. Rest. Okay, now I just want to mention right there is that you have kind of an unexpected jump to the D string. So you're going right there. So you're going to jump instead of going kind of in a row with your fingers. You're not going to do that, are you? And the other thing I was thinking of, in this key, we're in the key of G. You have a low 2 on the A and a high 2 on the D. So if that's an issue for you, I'm not sure what your level of playing is. This is an easy key for violin, but you do have that challenge where your second finger does have to play in 2 different positions. So watch for that. All right, let's back up a little bit in the line that's marked 67. Let's go ahead and play that again from the triplet. One measure back. Sustain, 2, 3, 1. Third finger, I2. Rest. All right, you can leave your bow right there. Don't pick it up. And then we have rest, short, rest. Use your 4 here. Hold the 1 while you play 4. Now, see right there, it was handy that I had that 1 sitting on the string all that time. Right there again. Now pick up your bow here. Pick up your bow and start down bow on the next note at the last line. Measure 83. Count. That's a low 2. Now we've got to set a high 2 on D. 1, 2, 3. We've got 2 beats, rest. 1, 2, and a bouncy pair of 8th notes. Right at the lower half of your bow. And it'd be good if they were in the lower half because you have a 7-beat down bow following it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Off. All right, and just watch your conductor. If you are playing this in an orchestra, watch your conductor and he will cut you off. Now the other thing, if you are playing this with a group, to remember is always, position your music stand so that your conductor is right in the center of your music stand. And then turn your scroll and point it to the center of your music stand. Or maybe to the left side of it. But don't bring your violin in like this. Turn yourself so that you are pointing your violin at the scroll, at the conductor, and the music. And that way you'll be in line. Sit on the edge of your chair. And let me think if I can think of anything else that you need. I'm going to send you this video and I'm going to send you the music. And if you have any other questions, we'll do a follow-up, okay? So Delma, thank you so much for your donation and I hope we can work together more. I hope this is exactly what you needed. Let me know how it's going. Thanks so much.